I think it was very nice that we gave the man who died in a car accident a moment of silence, and that was a very nice gesture. I wish we could do the same for 8 cats, 6 of which were kittens, that died because of the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter's TNR program. There's a man who wanted to come here today to speak. His name is Gregg. He could not make it because he's a student in Hofstra, but he promises that he will be here, perhaps in the next evening meeting. But he wrote something for me to please read to you. Unfortunately, the print is very small, so I'm borrowing someone's reading glasses, so you're going to have to bear with me. And I've made the decision just to cut through a few pages because it is very long. So just to give you a little insight, he is...
Mr. Vina, you're welcome to, first of all, I've seen a copy of it just this morning, but after you go through it, you're welcome to do the summary. Be mindful of the clock, but certainly give it to the town clerk, and it'll be part of the permanent record.
Right. Unfortunately, he didn't write the letter for us to give to you. He didn't even sign it. It was just something so I wasn't even aware that you received it. But I just think it's important for everybody to know he's a young man, a student at Hofstra, the kind of kids that we're proud of because they're going to take over after we're long gone. And he says in the beginning of the letter what a wonderful experience he's found on Long Island and how great the people are and how much they love animals. And he was introduced to his first feral colony that lived in the backyard of an apartment in a house where him and all his roommates took over. And he learned through rescue organizations in the area about feral colonies and what's the right thing to do and how to care for them. And he took great pride in socializing some of these kittens the best he could. They were still feral and they were still outdoor cats. But he started feeding them great food. He started giving them warmth. He started giving them beds. And it's not only him, it's a whole group of college students at Hofstra. They have also volunteered with some very wonderful, reputable rescue organizations right here in the neighborhood, whom I know so well. And they instructed him at some point to make sure that these kittens get spayed and neutered, and that the town of Hempstead offered this program free to the residents. Well, how great was that? And he explains how wonderful he thought the town of Hempstead was until he used their TNR program and brought these kittens into that shelter, which did not vaccinate them. And at that point, he says, I will try to read this. I began trapping all these cats in a colony in my backyard, doing so with a lot of care as to not scare them or stress them. The happiness I feel at the proposition of helping these animals I've grown to know on a daily basis for the past 8 months has been satisfying and very self-fulfilling. In the month of January, I trapped 8 cats, all of whom were brought to the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. As of today's date, February 22nd, all of the cats have disappeared. They are all gone, except one who made his way out of the bushes. He appeared very wobbly, skinny and sickly. He hardly recognized him. I picked him up in my arms. I brought him into my home, where I tried to bathe and feed him. He showed no energy to eat or resist the touch of humans, being a feral animal. I contacted all the friends that I have in the rescue community who told me he needs emergency vet care ASAP. I dropped everything to bring this kitten, who was recently neutered at the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter, to catnips and carrots. They then told me that he had a fever of 105 degrees. He had been severely dehydrated and was in bad physical condition. How is this possible, I asked myself, that he was just released from an animal clinic. The following day, I got another phone call informing me that the kitten had died sometime in the night, and it was a distemper virus. I feel betrayed, angry, and upset. How could this helpless kitten and all the others die from a virus after they were just released from the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter? Is this what happened to all the others? The kitten was born in the winter months. He survived as a kitten in the cold and in the snow, survived with other cats attacking him and fighting for food, the hardships of being outside, searching for food and warmth, places to hide, just to go to an animal shelter for help, to die upon leaving the shelter. This is negligence and potentially malicious. It's extremely disgusting that if an animal is your own personal animal, that you overlook its health and concern for them. If I were to bring a newborn baby to the hospital and that baby is released, I bring the baby home, and if it dies, either I'm in trouble for neglect or the doctor is in trouble, and a possible malpractice suit for charges will be made and accountability to be placed. What is the difference between that human baby and this kitten?
Ms. DeVito, please try to wrap up your comments as I said.
Okay. Well, basically,
I read the letter, which, by the way, for the record, was addressed to the members of the board of the Town of Hempstead, and the gentleman's name is right in the first sentence, so it was addressed to us. We do have a copy of it.
okay, I don't have that copy.
Well, I do.
Okay.
And so it is part, and please give what you have if you wish to the clerk, or I'll give my copy and it'll be part of the record. But thank you very much. And as I indicated before, on my order, the vaccines are being reinstated immediately.
Okay, and as I said before, Mr. Santino, please get involved with this animal shelter, because we are at the hands of a director who is very cold-hearted and not caring about what's happening to the animals, and these cats die a horrible death.
Thank you, Mr. Feeney. Day and Madden? Good afternoon.
I do want to thank you for acting so swiftly on the issue with the vaccinations. What a difference with this administration. I thank you for that. I sat here for 5 years, and I don't think everything was resolved that quickly. I just don't want to have anyone lose sight of the fact that this is all mismanagement. And I hope you continue to move swiftly and get that shelter back on track. I look at alone what's happening with the behavior department and the cost to taxpayers. We're paying not just up to $75,000 a year for a contract, we're also paying for a kennel person to do training that he's not really qualified to do, and we're also paying for him to visit homes. I view him as the problem why these dogs are becoming aggressive in the first place. We are also paying for off-site, some kind of, the shelter's calling it, or maybe even a volunteer, some kind of boot camp. It just kind of gives chills up my spine to think that you take animals that are already traumatized and send them to anything called boot camp, and at the taxpayer's expense. So to me, we're looking at the same situation we had years ago when the audit came out. The mismanagement, the misspending, it's gone backwards. And I know that you can't possibly micromanage the shelter, but someone needs to do it now. And
Ms. Madden, if you have some time available for me next week, maybe we can get together again.
thank you, I appreciate it.
Continue on talking.
There are things that I'll wait for that meeting then to speak.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll call you today and set something up for next week.
Thank you so much, and again, thank you for getting those vaccines. It's hard to catch these cats, and I'm no expert in traffic, but I do know that once you get them in there, you have one shot at really setting them back out for survival, and I'd like to give them the best chance they have, and I'm glad you did too. Thank you.
Phyllis Pachi.